What's up, guys? Welcome to the very first episode. I'm Matty D402, joined with my good friend Dante here.
What's going on?
What about them Broncos?
Yes, sir.
We finally pulled it out. This
was a big win. Big win for sure.
Wasn't pretty, but getting the win going into a team that's 7-2, can't ask much more than that. So, but Philip Lindsay, he doesn't have that game, we don't win. We just don't win.
Philip Lindsay was a huge part of it, but also the defense. I mean, 2 interceptions and critical points of the game as well. So that's stout.
That is stout. And I want to show everybody some stats real quick on Philip Lindsay. Real quick, I want you guys to realize something here. 591. Saquon Barkley, 586. Rookie of the year, people. Rookie of the year. Got to give a quick shout out to my pops. Was his Mr. Irrelevant for fantasy football, and I gave him a lot of crap from that. Faj, I'm sorry. I'm very sorry.
Anybody who picked up Philip Lindsay in the draft, not so much on the waiver wire, but on the draft, props to you, really, because you knew something that everybody else didn't.
Seriously. But real quick, I got to get into something about the fourth quarter. So, what is up? I know you said good job with the defense and everything, but dude, the big play is killing us this year.
The big play is killing us for sure, but you got to think about it too. We also have big plays. I mean, Emmanuel has 10 plus 20 plus yard plays on the season. Cortland Sutton 10 plus. Philip Lindsay also getting close to the 10 or the double digit with plus 20 points. So, the defense can only do so much. Every once in a while, you're going to give up a big play, but your offense also has to perform. So,
and I know that you were a fan in the beginning, but are you kind of in my boat with Case Keenum right now? Like, he didn't turn the ball over, but I want everybody to see this stat real quick. 205, a QBR of 48.5. Is that $23.5 million worth for 2 years?
Absolutely not. No, but so the thing about it is you got to look at what's going on now, because although he started off the season with a pick, at least one pick in the first 8 games of the season, these last 2, no turnovers. So that's huge.
The last 2 games, really?
No pick in the last game. The other big part, offensive line play was actually incredible this week. 0 sacks allowed on Keenum. That's another big part that everybody's been talking about for the whole year is, the offensive line play. At the beginning, it was good and it was on Keenum, but he's been doing a good job of getting the ball away. Now, I'm not saying that he was worth the money that we paid him, the $36 million that we paid him, but if he continues to perform like this, I think it's at least a serviceable person until we can find somebody to groom.
I get that, but I mean, dude, if he had 56 yards in the first half.
No, that's bad.
56 yards.
That's terrible.
56 yards. And 48 of that was, or I think, let's see here. What was that? Freaking Philip Lindsay, 21. So almost half of his freaking yards were Philip Lindsay alone. And that's just Philip Lindsay being boss. Again, Rookie of the Year.
Now, praise PFM, because
Just
that is a great moment in Broncos history. But if we remember the 2015 season, Peyton had some questionable games. I'm not comparing this team to the 2015 Broncos, but your point of Keenum only having 56 yards in the first half, you got to do what you got to do to get a win, and we got that win today. Let's go streaking. Six more to go.
Easy, bud. 6 more to go.
Six more to go. I've been saying it all week.
Six.
I've been saying it all week. We get these 2 wins coming out of the bye. You got going into LA and getting the dub. That's huge. Come back home with some momentum against the Steelers, who struggled. They struggled today against the Jacksonville Jaguars. So,
okay, let's look at this guy. Okay, so you said the Steelers. Okay, they struggled against the Jaguars. Even though the Jaguars are kind of crap right now, they still have a good defense, man. They still have the good defense, and I mean
that's questionable though, because their defense has been hella suspect for the last. I don't know. They're on what, 5-game losing streak or something like that.
I don't know. I don't really care about the Jags. Gives a crap about the Jags. Okay, and then I mean after the Steelers, we got the Bengals in Cincinnati, and they just who'd they lose to today?
Baltimore.
Oh yeah, Lamar Jackson. Next, Mike Vick.
Big ups. Let's go. 27 rushes in a game by a quarterback. Come on.
Cleveland,
we got that one at home. That's going to be in our favor without a doubt. And it depends on which Cleveland team shows up, really.
And then the Raiders. We got the Raiders.
Did the Raiders pull off the win this week?
I think the Raiders did pull off the win this week. So they won by 1 against Arizona. But that's Arizona.
That's right.
It's Arizona. Do you remember what Von Miller said? Oh, we gonna kick the ass.
Yeah.
We gonna kick the ass. So, and then LA at home.
LA at home. I mean, we already proved that we can beat LA. And we're coming home. We had a big fan base tonight. Shout out to Broncos country for showing up in LA. But we're going to be home against LA into the season. So if that's a game to go to 10-6, hey, y'all, all I know is I'm trying to be there.
So I remember you mentioned this to me. Shoot, I think it was maybe middle of the 4th quarter, something like that. You had mentioned, what if Vance Joseph doesn't go for that 4th down at the end of the 2nd quarter and he goes for the 3 points?
Right.
I mean, we got the win, but is that really a good coaching call right there?
So I like him being aggressive. I think that was a good move, being aggressive. I like the aggressive play from him in the first half especially. With the fake punt. That was awesome. Shout out to the boy Jano. But I think in the situation that the Broncos were in, you got to take the points. You're a team who's fighting for a win. That puts you up early in the game.
Yeah, and like you said, I mean, because they didn't get it, all the momentum just went to LA. And I can't remember. Oh no, they didn't close out because I remember Bradley Chubb had a sack to end the half. So
Defensive Rookie of the Year, Bradley Chubb.
Ain't that the truth? We're following New Orleans like last year. Offensive and defensive rookie. Shoot. But let's see here. Yeah, that fake punt was nice. And then, right after the fake punt, that's Lindsey's his 40-yard touchdown run.
Yeah.
Great patience that he had there. Great patience.
Well, and I think was that his longest touchdown run of the year? I know it's not the longest run, but as far as touchdown runs go, I think that might be his long.
Let's see here. I'm gonna go here. 29. So yeah, 29 was his long, at least for this one to update. So yeah, 41 yards. 41 yards. And then shoot, the next possession, defense stepped up and got Chris Harris the interception. Okay, as we keep talking, how are we only winning by 3 with all these turnovers? Vaughn had a pick. Chris had a pick. Well, I don't think anything happened off any of the turnovers tonight.
So, Von Miller's pick, right? We scored after that possession, I believe.
Yeah, I think so.
But the first one, that pick by Chris, that was a downer, and that's because of the offense. The offense was stagnant in that first half.
Hey, 56 yards of freaking passing, and again, our rushers are doing good. I mean, granted, it wasn't a lot. It was like 68 yards rushing, but they were averaging like 5.4 yards a game.
Good to see Royce back.
Yeah.
Good to see Royce back.
He was the one that scored. He scored that like 2-yard run after Vaughn's.
Yep.
That was his.
I like the dynamic of Phillip and Royce better than Devontae Booker.
Don't get me started with Devontae. Devontae needs to be off the spot. I'm sorry, Devontae. Like, it just hasn't panned out, man. I'm sorry. It just hasn't. It hasn't since your first carry. Your first carry sealed your fate. I'm sorry. But is Phillip Lindsay the number one, or do you still roll?
I think you
have
roll
Royce.
No, I think you go with Phillip as the number one. I guess if that's what you want to call it, that. But Royce needs to see his carries too. You know, it's a good balance of, you know, lightning and thunder. So
3 more sacks for the defense tonight. It's probably gonna move us from what were we freaking like?
Well, we were 7th coming into the game. I'm pretty sure they showed the stat during the broadcast.
7th, yeah. That puts us at 31 for the year, and that puts us at 10 picks.
10 picks.
10 picks.
I saw a tweet on Twitter by, I can't remember who posted it, but it was a quote from Chris Harris saying that Phillip Rivers is his favorite QB because he's not scared to try him. Right after I read that tweet was when Chris Harris got that pick, so I thought that was kind of ironic.
How many rushing touchdowns do we have today? 3?
Today we had 3. 2 by Lindsay and 1 by Royce.
All right, and that here is a crazy stat. And again, I'm sorry, Devontae. I kind of am wondering how this is possible with you still on the squad, but that gives us 13 rushing touchdowns, 0 rushing fumbles.
That's legit. That's ball security.
Devontae Booker, don't fuck it up. But again, I mean, we're not going anywhere. We're probably moving down on the list for passing because, I mean, again, Keenum had 200 and just over 200 yards passing, but no touchdown. And I'm sorry. I'm not trying to play devil's advocate and take anything away from the Broncos defense or the Broncos offensive game because it was awesome that we get the dub, but San Diego, I think, total had 16 penalties. And they played, without a doubt, they played worse than the Broncos played. Because I'm not going to say the Broncos played great, but they just played worse than the Chargers. And, I mean, I feel like if they don't get that many penalties, and the fact that we only won by 3 with, again, the turnovers and winning the turnover battle, like, I don't know. I still don't see us making the playoffs.
Well, my big thing is we got to win these first 2. We got one of them. Got to get the Steelers. It really is a easy 4-game, little stint there before our final game against the Chargers again. So, offense just has to pull it together. You know, they got to play a full 4 quarters.
Yeah.
That's really what it comes down to.
How about we play 3 quarters at least? Case.
Let's talk about somebody on the defense, though, who actually had himself a game. Your boy, Bradley Roby.
Which, is he still in concussion protocol?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I didn't even realize the dude was in concussion protocol until I looked at the just a tweet and it said Bradley Roby might not come back getting tested for concussion. I didn't even see the play, so I have no idea. And Roby, I love you, man, but you've kind of struggled this year, dude. I'm not going to lie. You definitely have better games, but the beginning of the year, man, I think you got into your head a little bit. Like, I don't think you needed to put all the pressure of being the number 2 now that Talib was gone. It's just, you're better than that, man. You're better than that, and I know it.
I don't know that he ever came back. I think he was in concussion protocol for the rest of the game.
So that means Pac-Man comes in.
Pac-Man, yep.
Or I guess it would be Brock, wouldn't it? Would it be Tremaine?
I think Pac-Man was playing at the end of the game.
Okay.
Not Brock. Yadam, where you at, bud? Step up.
Come on, Yadam. Come on, Yadam.
Step up.
I'm sorry, Yadam. And really, the only times I saw your name come up was when Cortland Sutton was wrecking you in this friggin' in the training camp, bud. Like, he was murking you. He kept mossing you, and it was on Instagram everywhere, man. But, shoot. I mean, I don't know what more you could do with Sutton, but still, you got to have a better look than that, man. Okay. Tremaine Brock. I love the enthusiasm. But that play in the first quarter, it was overthrown by like 10 yards. And you gave him the... But you didn't do nothing on that. I'm sorry. Just don't do the taunt in there, man. Like,
that's really one of my favorite things to see in the NFL is when DBs think that they do something. You know, if it's an aired throw, man, don't be boasting like you made a big play or something. You know, maybe get a clap in there because your team made a stop, but you didn't do anything, bud. You didn't do anything. I'm sorry.
Oh, keep an eye out. I wonder if Sanders is really hurt. He only had 3 catches to start the fourth quarter. So I know he went out early because I think it was his shoulder, but definitely keep an eye out on that because that's going to be a huge blow. I know Sutton will step up. I think Hamilton's out with a concussion now too.
Well, Hamilton's out. Emmanuel did come back. He ended up with 4 receptions for 56 yards.
So he had 1 reception in the fourth quarter then.
But if I remember right, it was a big one.
I think you're thinking of Sutton, bud. Oh, no, he did have... I don't know.
Let's see.
Ugh.
Let's see that final drive here real quick.
And, again, the defense, you turned the ball over, but 400 yards.
400 yards is inexcusable.
Like, again, I'm sorry, like, I truly feel like we should not have won this game. We really should not have won this game.
We didn't have any business winning the game. You're absolutely right.
I just... yeah.
Yes, Emmanuel did. On 2nd and 5... On 2nd and 5 on that last drive, Emmanuel caught a 38-yard pass.
I must have missed it.
Actually, you know what? I think they have that label wrong. I think that was the Sutton pass.
Because does it say like to the... Is it like the last play of the...
Was right before... Or wait... Yeah, no, he did have he had a big gainer. That was the second play of the drive.
Huh. I guess I do not remember that at all. At all. But let's see here. Yeah, because I mean, San Diego in the third had 12 penalties for 110. But again, the big play is killing the defense, and I hate to say it, but that no-fly zone is definitely a fly zone now.
It is.
Because when Antonio Gates' freaking big butt is going down the freaking field with wide open, like...
Hey, how about that Raheem the Dream moment by Darian Stewart there? Though?
26 is cursed in Broncos history. Darian, what are you doing, bro? What are you doing?
I mean, come on,
you were
man.
in position
that
and you,
right
like,
there.
Raheem took over. Like, come on, dude. What was that? Like,
that was great. That was great.
Oh, you're right. Big play, Emmanuel. A minute 13 left.
There it is.
I did catch it. Not giving myself credit.
Are you about to talk about the pass interference?
What is that?
Where's the phantom pass interference at? If anything, that's defensive pass interference.
If anybody's actually watching this video, if you can look up this, just go to the very end of the game. It was like a minute 13 left, or actually under a minute. How was that pass interference on him? He was playing the ball. The cornerback just went. Like, I don't freaking know. I'll be honest though, we got lucky with that Emmanuel drop that looked like a fumble.
I don't think that was lucky. That's not a catch.
But he had it 1-2. and he was turning upfield, and that's when it got hit. Like that could have been determined as a football move.
I think it was no catch. I think that was a good call. I don't think we got lucky on that one.
Ugh.
But viewers, Maddie, does Brandon McManus get his, what's the word I'm looking for? Does he save himself from the the miss against Houston?
Okay, the miss against Houston, it sucked, but Vance, why are you giving your kicker a 53-yard field goal to win the game when you had, like, if I'm not mistaken, you had like 15 seconds left with a timeout to do something to give him just a little bit? Like, here's a crazy stat for everybody on Brandon McManus, and we're not giving him credit, but McManus, you kind of have to get this together with 50-plus, man. He's not missed unless it's been 50-plus.
I'll give it that one of those misses was over 60.
Yeah, exactly. Over 60. I mean, McManus, I ain't going to blame you for that. Like, that's a hell of a kick, bud. But McManus, I don't really blame you for that. It does suck, and I usually don't give kickers a pass because you literally do one thing, and that's kick a ball through two uprights, and you get paid millions of dollars to do this. So you don't really get a pass, but that's Vance. I'm sorry, Vance. Like, you got to give your kicker a little more, and this proves it. Like, you gave him a 28-yard field goal to win the game, and he did kind of sneak it in there. I'm not gonna lie.
He did sneak it in.
I questioned myself whether or not it went through. Granted, he did make the first one right through, but of course it's freaking Mike Shanahan. Why'd you have to start that crap? Unbelievable. I don't like that. Call a timeout right before.
Yeah, that's
because look, it didn't work for us against Houston last week.
That's what Colin Cowherd said. Where was his tweet? It had me cracking up. Let's see. He said, at Colin Cowherd, hate that Mickey Mouse timeout shtick at the end of games. First of all, I've never heard the word shtick, but I like it.
I'm sorry, Colin. It's because of how he talks, bro. I'm sorry, Colin. I love you, man. You're actually one of the few people I really like. But so we get the dub. I know you're happy. I know I'm gonna go to work, and my coworker Rob is gonna be like, "All right, you believe in the Broncos again?" Do we want the Broncos in the playoffs? I mean, is this a team that's gonna compete in the playoffs? Because I say it a lot. If we go 9-7, are we getting in the playoffs?
A 9-7 Broncos does not make it to the playoffs. The reason I say that is because you got the Bengals and the Ravens, who are both currently ahead of us. If we beat the Bengals here in 2 weeks, we hold the tiebreaker against them. But if Baltimore is 9-7, they hold the tiebreaker, so we don't make it. So we don't have a choice. I think we have to win out to have a chance at 10-6.
10-6. Okay. The next, are we winning the playoff game? Is it worth getting to the playoffs and not securing a relatively good pick? Because I hate to say it, because John, you've done it all the time. If we have a 21st pick in the draft, he's getting a lineman, and I'm sorry, I can't deal with another Garrett Bowles.
Well, the great Tim Tebow did take an 8-8 team. Granted, it was here at home. We beat the Pittsburgh Steelers.
I hate that you bring that play up.
Hey.
The only play that wasn't the Super Bowl that I actually cried on. Thank you, Tim Tebow. I appreciate that. And DT. We won't talk about him anymore because he's not really a Bronco. But again, DT.
Well, I'll say this. If we somehow get lucky and get that 6th seed and Houston ends up getting the 3rd seed over New England, somehow, some way, we get a redemption on Houston in the first round.
Why wouldn't New England be 2?
New England right now, you got the Chiefs in first, And well, maybe they are second right now.
I was gonna say because I can't think of anybody else in the AFC that I mean you got Kansas City. Honestly, the only other team. Well, I can't even say San Diego. Why'd you guys have to leave San Diego? You guys are the San Diego Chargers to me. Like this LA Chargers thing, playing at Dick's Sporting Goods Field. Like, come on.
So that's why the Pittsburgh was in second. They're 7-2-1. New England is 7-3.
Okay, so the Steelers would get the number one.
Yep.
And Houston's what? 7 straight at 7-3.
Houston is 7 straight at 7-3.
Ooh, buddy.
So I don't know. Tom Brady falling off. Just gonna say it.
And guess who picked him number one in our fantasy draft?
Freaking Dave Dale.
I told you not to pick him. You'd probably be in the best team if you would have just picked Todd Gurley, considering Mark Ingram is absolutely incredible. Again, you're welcome.
Todd Gurley carrying the fantasy team on the back door right now. Yes, sir.
All right, guys. Well, we're going to wrap it up. If you like the video, definitely hit a like on the video. Subscribe. I'd really appreciate that. Also, leave a comment if you have any suggestions, maybe more content that you want, stuff that we didn't talk about. And hopefully next week we'll have our second post-game video. In the meantime, I'm MattyD402. My good friend Dante here. Remember, subscribe. Appreciate it.
Have a good night.